Looking, who's back? I know I done came back like the plague several times. Came back like an ingrown toy, pretty much. I keep coming back, leaving, keep coming back. I'm trying to be more consistent, but that's neither here nor there. Sorry about that. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nene, and I thought I'd start off 2024 with a bang, like 2024 has been banging us. Okay, this, as you can tell from the thumbnail and from the actual um, description, we're going to talk about Katt throwing shots Williams. Just give you a little quick commentary on my thoughts on the whole interview. First thing first, if you're new to my channel, thank you. Please like, subscribe, put the notification bell on for whenever I do post up new videos. Okay. Also share if I didn't say that already. But back to the topic at hand. We're going to talk about Katt Williams. Uh, I don't know if you've been under a rock or something, but 16 million people have seen this interview he did with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay. Okay? Just a little quick breakdown, just a little synopsis. Katt Williams came on there to do an interview. Shannon Sharpe is a retired NFL player who's not a journalist. He just has, as he says, conversation over good cognac. Okay? So if you're looking for something in depth and all of that, need to go to Dan Rather, CBS, um, Robin Roberts, Good Morning America, all of that. Okay? If you just want some conversations of two uncles sitting there drinking some brown liquor, that's Club Shay Shay. Okay? Anywho, uh, ain't gonna be long. He just shot fire at everybody. Everybody was getting strays. Jonathan Majors, uh, Kim Kardashian, uh, I think the biggest thing, Ludacris. Ludacris ain't even a rapper. He gonna sit there. If you haven't watched the interview, you need to go to Club Shay Shay. Just do a YouTube search, Club Shay Shay, Katt Williams. It'll pop up. But anywho, we're just gonna start off with the lowest thing on the totem pole. Ludacris. He says that him and Ludacris were supposed to be going into the Illuminati, and they didn't. They had to choose one. They had to have one chosen Negro, and so both of them had sideburns. But Katt had a perm, and Ludacris had a whole afro. But they could only let one golden Negro in at a time, and Ludacris decided, yes, I'll cut my afro and my sideburns, and he was able to get into the Illuminati, and because of that, he got Fast and the Furious. I beg your pardon. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the second Fast and the Furious, he had a whole afro and the pork chop sideburns, so that don't make no sense. Made no sense at all. Also, what didn't make sense, I'm not trying to say anything about Katt Williams in regards to his intelligence. I am a big Katt Williams fan. I like his comedy. But sir, how are you gonna sit here and say at the age of 4 or 5 you read like 3,000 books? Like if you read He Said, She Said, What Did God Say, or Dr. Seuss, or One Fish, Blue Fish, Green Fish, Cat in the Hat, yeah, I can believe that. But I know at no 5 years old you read some Socrates. Oh hell no! No, that's not calculating. That math ain't mathing. He also said that he got accepted, excuse me, into college at the age of 7. Not trying to say anything about his intelligence, but I would think there would be something that was Googleable, that we could Google that and it would have popped up. It would have been a news article. Something would have popped up. I ain't find nothing about that. So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that be. Okay. Let's get on to the part that we all are sitting here looking at. Okay. Let's call a thing a thing. If you don't like somebody, you just don't like them. If you don't rock with them, you just don't rock with them. He has something to say about Ricky Smiley. He has something to say about Cedric the Entertainer. He has something to say about Steve Harvey. Okay? And Faison Love. already said about the Jonathan Majors, but that's neither here or there. That's no major thing. But Martin Lawrence. But let me say something, okay? I have had the privilege of meeting Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley is one of the sweetest people I ever met in my life. Okay, I understand some people said they've had interactions with him and it wasn't so nice, but when I had interactions with him, he was nice. Steve Harvey, same thing. I had the privilege of encountering Mr. Harvey, working with Mr. Harvey, participating in his mentoring camp. Okay, again, never had any bad dealings with him. I will say he is like the uncle that anybody would have who don't take no mess. And if he don't feel like being bothered, he don't feel like being bothered. Okay? I ain't had no long, drawn conversations with him. Just did what I needed to do and keep it pushing. With that being said, Katt has a different interaction with them because they are co-workers. Okay? Shout out to Hear More, another comedian that I follow that I like. You need to check him out. He has Zooming with the Homies, really great program. Anywho, they are co-workers. So we and us as consumers are not privy to the ins and outs that happens behind closed doors. Okay, but I won't say but. However, it's a thing that's going around, that has been going around for quite some time. I do remember hearing about this, about Cedric the Entertainer stealing one of Katt Williams' jokes. I know I did dabble in comedy myself for a while. I was an amateur stand-up comedian, which is not for the weak. Okay, I will say that. It is not for the weak. I think I enjoy writing more than actually doing stand-up. I might go back and do it just for fun. But anywho, stealing of jokes is not an uncommon thing, okay? A lot of times, depending on what the topic is, there might be several comedians that might be talking about the same thing. Like when the pandemic hit, there was a bunch of comedians that had the same joke, but it was a different punchline. It was a different way of writing it, a different thought process. But the same topic was the pandemic. Okay, so Cedric the Entertainer came on Shannon Sharp, talked about it, said that they had squashed it 10 years ago, but apparently with Katt Williams, he said, yeah, we squashed it, but I'm going to keep bringing it up. Every chance I get on site, I'm bringing it up. So, I mean, off the rip, the moment Shannon like opened up his mouth and gave like a introduction and was just about to ask him like, hey, how your mama, your daddy, your siblings, where you came from, all of that, Katt Williams came off, took off running. Oh, Cedric the Entertainer done stole my jokes. He sat there and talked about Steve Harvey wasn't a real comedian because he doesn't do stand-up anymore. Uh, uh, Martin Lawrence tried to put him in a dress. Uh, uh, Harvey Weinstein tried to push him or ask or requested for oral sex. Like, bruh, what's happening? What's going on? Are you okay? Are you all right? What's happening? The whole thing with the Cedric, I know there's a clip going out of the joke, and it's the infamous joke that Cedric the Entertainer said for Kids of Comedy about the Cadillac being a spaceship. To be honest with you, I ain't never liked that joke. I ain't think it was the best joke ever. Okay? I have watched Cedric the Entertainer. I've watched all of the guys. I've watched all of them. He talked about that Cedric wasn't that funny, that he didn't have that many specials, that he had only 4 and Katt has 12. Katt, you can have 12 stand-ups, and that's wonderful. But do anyone remember all 12? Are all 12 even funny? Like I could name 4. Okay, I could name 4, and I'm a Katt Williams fan. There's Pimp Chronicles, there's Pimpin', there's Katt Williams Live, and then when he looked like he belonged in Whoville, uh, Catopolis or something like that. That's all I remember. I do remember there's one where he has the yellow Big Bird mink coat on. Okay, World of something. Uh, That's all I remember. I can't remember a joke from that. And that's the thing with specials. You should have quotable moments in a special. Shout out to Tony Baker because he mentioned that last night. You have to have quotables. And he says Cedric doesn't. Cedric does. It just happened to come out that one of his jokes that I like, that's on Netflix, which he said he don't have a special on Netflix or on Tubi. Yes, he does. Okay, alrighty. But coming to find out, one of the jokes I like of Cedric's, um, apparently appeared on a show I used to like called Designing Women. That was back in the '80s, and this joke was just in the 2000s. So I mean, I digress. I'm not gonna touch on that. Um, but I mean, Cedric still deserves his flowers. Like, he has done a lot for St. Louis. He is one of the best out there. Okay, he's on network TV right now. There ain't that many black male comedians that got a freaking primetime show. So give him his flowers. Steve Harvey, whether he had a wig or not, which now that I look at it, I think it was a wig. That's that man's business. If he wanted to wear a man unit, he could wear a man unit. That's his business. He used to wear zoot suits. Okay? Don't nobody care about that. He gonna sit there and say he's not a real comedian anymore because he doesn't do stand up. Hello. Are we forgetting one of the comedians that's in the top 5 of every comedian that talks about their top 5 is Richard Pryor, Bernie Mac, Eddie Murphy. Little known fact, Eddie Murphy hasn't, from my recollection, okay? Eddie Murphy has done 2 specials, and I'm 43. He did them when I was either 5 or 6. He ain't did another special since then. Okay? Alrighty. I thought when I heard a comedian, shout out to Clint Coley, say that last night, I was like, no, he's had another stand-up since that. Nope, I beg to differ. I looked it up. No, that was it. Delirious and Raw. That's it. That is it. So because Steve retired from doing stand-up, that means he's not relevant anymore. Bernie Mac, God rest his soul, he didn't even get a chance to do a special, and he's still in the top. If I'm not mistaken, I can stand corrected. Robin Harris doesn't even have a special. So just because you have a special, that don't mean that makes you a great comedian. A comedian, I mean, it's to each his own. My sister loves Dana, not Dana Cook or whatever that man's name is. He got specials galore. I don't care about none of his specials. He ain't funny to me. Andrew Dice Clay, he got specials. He ain't funny to me. So just because you got a special don't mean you funny. And again, Katt, you got 12 of them. And baby, not all 12 of them is fire. That's what I'm saying. Then he came after Ricky and talking about Ricky lying. He was never supposed to be Money Mike on Friday After Next or the next Friday or the last Friday, whichever Friday movie that was. Are we talking about Hollywood now? That has one role per 15 black people? You really essentially thought that they didn't have him read for another part? Why would he have to lie about that? He said when he came in, he read for Money Mike, but Money Mike was supposed to be like some baggervance, an annoyance, like a crackhead of some sort that was in the shopping mall. But they switched it up, and I guess you had some input with it. You changed it to a pimp. Why would he have to lie about that? And plus, Ricky wouldn't be able to play no pimp. I mean, 2 things could be true. You might not have known that aspect of it. That don't mean he lying. And then you go shots fired at him, talking about him and Tyler Perry play women really well, and that they play women better than they play men. Let's get this one thing straight. I'm so sick of hearing this whole thing about black men being in dresses. Now, y'all don't have that same energy for Jamie Foxx that played Wanda. Y'all don't have that same energy for Eddie Murphy, who played in Nutty Professor and The Clumps and Rasputia. Y'all sitting here talking about the black men that jumps in these dresses and all of that and saying that they trying to demasculate themselves. But y'all don't say none of that to the white men that do it. Okay? Go back. Look in the 80s. Tom Hanks had a whole show called Bosom Buddies and he was in a dress. Did people forget about Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire? Hello! He in a dress. Dustin Hoffman, Tootsie, he in a dress. That does not mean they are trying to demasculate men. Patrick Swayze, John Leguizamo, Wesley Snipes, Tu Wong Fu. That's not those. That story was about drag queens, but that's not demasculating. That's a character. Martin plays Shanae. That's not demasculating. Why are we sitting here tearing them down because of characters they created? Katt Williams saying the only way that he put it in his contract that only way he would be in a movie again with Ricky Smiley is if he's in a dress. And the next movie he was in was First Sunday, and he was in a dress. Okay, truth be told, anybody that's been following Ricky Smiley, like someone like myself, because again, I study comedy. I love it. It is my favorite genre. He has been doing Sister Bernice Jenkins since the beginning of time. He was on Comic View when he would sit there and do the church announcements with the and then do Bernice Jenkins. He would do his set where he would talk about the different women in the church by the church hats. You had the first lady, the mother of the church. Like, come on, bruh. Like, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? Then you're going to sit there and talk about Martin Lawrence trying to get you in the dress for Big Mama House 2. Yet your math ain't mathing. That's Big Mama House 3. Because you talking about something. You gave the idea to him that he need a Brandon T. Jackson. And off the strength of you, because Martin ain't got no mindset of his own, that he went off of what you suggested and went for Brandon T. Jackson. Really? Michael Blackson. You gonna sit there and talk about Michael Blackson that you told him to stop wearing the dirty dashikis, to dress how he should be dressing, and then to build a school in Africa. This man is from Africa and moved to Philly as a kid. You don't think he ever had in his mindset to actually have a school in Africa? Not until Katt Williams, who came from Ohio, gave him that idea. And everybody knew Michael Blackson did the stick of being the African comedian, Mother Sucker. He did that to get in the door to start off. Like, I don't understand. Like, I mean, several things could be true. You don't have to like somebody, but why you got to tear them down? And so now what's going on is there's going to be a stigma on these men. You went after, the thing that killed me the most was you went after Kevin Hart. And then your fans are sitting here like he's speaking facts. That's what's making my ovaries itch. Kevin Hart, he was put in Hollywood, and he was put in as a plant because what person comes over and automatically starts off being in a major motion picture off the rip and get a sitcom? Okay, first of all, anybody that's been following Kevin Hart's career, Kevin Hart started off as Kevin the Little Bastard. Kevin started off at the age of 18. I have seen videos of him doing comedy on the East Coast at the age of 18. His first movie he ever did was Paper Soldiers by Rockefeller, Dame Dash. That ain't no big motion picture. You talking about the sitcom he had. We're talking about in an era where they was grabbing straws to try to get people on TV. Tracy Morgan had a sitcom for a minute. Michael Strahan had a freaking sitcom for a minute. Then they had Kevin Hart, because they was trying to get that black magic. Let's think about it. Let's think about how white Hollywood worked. Whenever they need a network to get launched, they'll get black people and get it and get it out the mud and off their backs. And then when they're doing good, they'll drop them like a bad habit. Anybody remember WB or UPN or CW? Not the CW now, that merged from WB to UPN. WB used to have girlfriends and brothers from outer space. We're not gonna talk about that show. Used to have one-on-one, the game, half and half. Steve Harvey show, and then parlayed it and just forgot about them. Same thing with Fox. Fox had Martin in Living Color and Living Single off the backs, and then didn't have black sitcom shows for like what over 10 years. So that don't. He's an industry plant. They always do that. You always got that one black. They only let one black comedian in. In the 80s, it was Eddie Murphy. The 90s, it was the Def Jam era. So you had so many that was coming out. But you had the focus point was Martin. But if you go back to Def Comedy Jam, you had Martin, you had Bernie Mac, you had D.L. Hughley, you had Adele Givens, you had Laura Haynes, Mike Epps, Chris Tucker, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, Hometown Hero, Bill Bellamy. They had a bunch of them. But they only let one out. And you're going to sit there and say he became an industry plant? They wasn't checking for Kevin Hart until 2015 when Wedding Singer and Get Hard came out. Because then you can see that he went from being in the background to being in the forefront, and then his star started rising. But that man put years in. How you going to sit here and diminish this man? Then you come after Tiffany Haddish. If y'all, shout out to Tiffany Haddish, y'all need to read her book. For everything that she went through, all the fighting, you ain't got to like her style of comedy. But that don't mean you got to diminish her. Why we as black people, it pisses me off that we always got to do that. I don't see Jerry Seinfeld going after Larry David. I don't see Jeff Foxworthy going after Larry, the cable guy. But here we go. We got to sit here and then it's all on social media. And then don't nobody know nothing. We don't know. We only know what we see on the outside and want to be in the comments. Yeah, Katt spitting facts. He's speaking truth. Yes, it's so true. Yeah, Kevin, an industry plant. An industry plant for what? Wasn't the Epstein list supposed to be coming out? And we so focused on Katt Williams, that don't sound weird to you? Like, what? I don't understand. I don't understand. But then you talk about the comedians that you help out and you have them open up, which is great because he does help out a lot of comedians. Lunel, Melanie Camacho, Red Grant. He helped out Melba Moore. Why don't we talk more about that? Why don't we talk about that you have, if I'm not mistaken, the comedian's name is Pretty Ricky and Takara Williams, that you got these two women opening up. Ashima Franklin that you had open up. Why don't you talk about that? Why are we sitting here talking about something and stuff that's mad old? Like if you said you forgave somebody, you forgave them. Why are you still talking about this whole thing with Cedric the Entertainer? And then go sit there and say that, yeah, my 5'5" frame, I would have punched Cedric dead in his stomach. Sir, you got beat by a middle schooler. What are we talking about? You gonna punch Cedric the Entertainer in his stomach as a grown man, but you couldn't fight little Bobby from middle school. Bruh, cut it out. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. Y'all leave a comment and let me know what you thought of it. I'm not saying that what he's saying is not true. I'm just saying some of the stuff was like, come on, bro. You could run a 4.4. Didn't Kevin Hart try to run against a football player and tore his whole bottom torso and was in a wheelchair? Katt Williams, if you don't sit down, you're gonna tear your whole body off. Stop it. Just stop it. We gotta do better, black people. We gotta do better. It's 2024. Let's just stop it.